First of all, the bully in this book is such a bitch.
No, what?
So I would just watch the movie.
That was super expensive.
Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with a super fun video. I am going to be reading my childhood favorite books. I know that a lot of people have already done concepts like this. I know some people do it by grade like Kayla, some people just like pick and choose. I'm going to be doing it by type. So I decided to do picture books first, which would have been like pre-K, kindergarten, and probably first grade. I started reading chapter books in second grade, so these would be all first grade or before first grade. So these are really childhood, if not like nearly infantry, toddlerry. So yeah, I figured that we could do these, and then I have over here, literally from here over, are chapter books. Two of these I've never read, but all the other ones are or were favorites. So I thought then we could do like kind of sections of my childhood. So like really small beginner chapter books, and then maybe even my favorite books in high school. Although I really probably won't want to reread a ton of John Green and 13 Reasons Why, so maybe I'll just not do high school. But I thought that doing this and at least like my childhood chapter books that I read in like elementary school time would be really fun. So I thought that we could start with picture books. I actually read a lot of picture books on NetGalley. I love children's literature, chapter books, like beginner chapter books all the way to middle grade. I love picture books, and I read a lot of them through NetGalley. So I am not a stranger to children's literature, I guess. So the reason, my first idea for this video was going to be do, you know, picture books pre Y2K, because I think almost every single one of these came out before 2000 for sure. Do they hold up? Are they something that I would want my children to read? Are they graphic or insensitive or anything of the sort? I wanted to see if they held up. And that's still something I'm definitely going to discuss in this video, but I thought that it would also be fun to kind of do the same thing then with chapter books from my childhood, and so just overall to see how things hold up from that time period and stuff. I'm just going to go through them really quickly, and then we'll do, you know, this nice little reading vlog with these books. So the first one that I have, literally no particular order. I keep them like all right here next to my arcs, and I just literally pulled them out. So the first one is a Sesame Street book, a little golden book, which so cute, and it is the monster at the end of this book. Man, I feel like everyone had this book. So super cute. This was a huge part of my childhood. This is the one that I really think of when I think of childhood picture books. This is really one of the first ones to come to mind. A classic, I would say. Then this is actually my brother's, and I've been meaning to give it back to him because I just found all of these books. My mom brought over a bin of my childhood stuff because she just moved, and I found all these books, and I was like, oh, I'd love to just like put those in my collection instead of like a box. And this one happened to be in there, but it's my brother's, but I want to read it first, so I'm going to read it for this vlog, and then I'm going to give it back to him. Yeah, it even has his name right there, so I'm going to give it back to him. But I used to read this all the time as well. The Stinky Cheese Man and Other Fairly Stupid Tales by John Chlyschka and Lane Smith. So this is just, I remember this being kind of scary when I was a kid, but not in like a bad way. I thought it was very like Coraline-esque, kind of like scary, eerie, but I was into it, you know? So just some of the illustrations and whatnot. They are a spin on classic fairy tales. Like that one we just passed, I think, was The Princess and the Pea, but this one is called The Princess and the Bowling Ball. The Really Ugly Duckling, The Other Frog Prince, Little Red Running Shorts. Like, they're just quite interesting. Like, she has little shorts on instead of a hood, and They're just a little spooky taste on kind of some classic fairy tales. So I did read this a lot in childhood as well. So I'm going to read this one. This isn't one I think of like immediately right off the bat. I associate this with my brother, but I definitely did my fair share of reading this, so I thought it'd be fun to give it a read before I hand it back to its rightful owner. And then this one at some point must have lost its dust jacket, because I definitely remember it having a dust jacket. But this is Town Mouse, Country Mouse by Jan Brett. And Jan Brett actually, I want to say at one point came to my elementary school, I think when we were in like 1st or 2nd grade, to talk about this, or maybe they like, I was gonna say they video called her, but man, that was not a thing. But I was never super fascinated by her like storytelling, but the illustrations and overall like style of her work, I remember always finding super interesting. We did like every single one of her books has this big panel right here, and then it has these side panels, and it's kind of like a, you know, like I'm pretty sure if I remember like a flashback kind of thing, and like kind of a foreshadowing situation, or it's just things behind the scene. I don't recall, but there's some significance here, and so I'm really interested to read this again and see if I can kind of pick up on it or figure it out again, because I do remember that from childhood. I remember sitting in the library and them talking about this art style or choice to do this and its significance. So I'm really interested to check that out. But Jan Brett was one of my favorites just because of that. I loved that stylistic choice, and I thought it was really interesting. Then I have a snack for Phillip. This is by Farmer Bob. I'm not quite sure. These are Flying Rhinoceros books. They're educational books based out of Oregon, and this one is on weather. So they're by Farmer Bob and the Flying Rhinoceros group, but this one is about weather. I remember I was like obsessed with this whole idea of these educational books. I was honestly a nerd, and I don't mean that in like I'm a quirky nerd, but like genuinely I loved learning, and if I could have the opportunity to read and learn something new, I was like on it. Here's a little info, and it just talks about what the freezing temperature is, what makes snowflakes, what makes seasons pretty much, info about snowflakes, info about hurricanes, and wind, just really, really cool things that are kind of, you know, educational as well. So excited to dive back into that. Then we have Corduroy, classic Corduroy by Dawn Freeman. Corduroy's classic. Everybody loves corduroy. Don't really have anything else to say about it. I'm excited to dive back in and see, you know, everything I kind of forgot about all of these, honestly. So I have that one. Then I have this one. I don't even know who these people are. It says Tatia from Dakota and Sierra. Don't know who that is. But Chrysanthemum by Kevin Henkes. I am not good with names. Chrysanthemum was one of my favorites. I absolutely loved it. I love the message behind it and learning just to love yourself and love what makes you different. And this is by far one of my favorites for sure. And I loved it a lot. This was $16. That's really expensive. When did this come out? This one was in 1991. $16 in 1991?
I am editing right now, and I just looked it up because I still can't get over that. And in 1991, $15.99, which is what the book says, I made that equivalent to what that would be today, and it would be $31.80. So I don't know how to explain that, because you wouldn't even find a children's book for $31.80 nowadays. So like that was super expensive for 1991.
Next I have James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. but this is a illustrated edition with Lane Smith, who is, where was it? The same person that did this one. Very similar art style, very creepy, very eerie, that Coraline kind of vibe, and that's what I love about this one. This isn't one that I think of immediately, but it is one that I definitely remember reading a lot, so I'm excited for this one. And then the very last one actually had a huge impact on me. It's one of the reasons that I decided to go down the degree path that I went down in college, although now I'm not doing anything with it. Thanks, Corona. But that is Felix Travels Back in Time by Annette Langen and Constanza Droop. Includes 6 pull-out letters and fold-out maps and a timeline. Sorry. And this one was just amazing to me. I love children's books that have tangible, physical pieces and artifacts, and something more for like the kinesthetic learners out there, like myself, and more, you know, hands-on. I think it's super fun. So in this one, they go back in time. Her little bunny gets lost and he ends up going back in time, and then he starts sending her all these letters. And so here's one from the Stone Age, and then you go like this, and there actually is in here a letter. So this one is just one I'm super stoked about as well. So overall we have 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 books here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we have 8 books here, so I'm just going to start diving into them and seeing what I think. If you're wondering why I'm wearing so much makeup today, not that you probably are, but I just feel the need to mention it since in every other video I literally look homeless. It's because, not that I still don't look homeless, but I'm trying to practice my makeup for our Roka, which is coming up August 7th, which is like an Indian engagement. Oh, we got engaged. I don't know if I've even mentioned that on this channel. I don't think I have. I got engaged like a month and a half ago. But our Indian engagement, like the thing that solidifies the engagement, is happening August 7th. And it's kind of last minute, like we decided to do it kind of last minute. That's only in like 2 weeks at this point. And so I am practicing my makeup because I don't have like a makeup artist. There aren't like really any like Indian makeup artists that I was even finding in Oregon. So like people that specialize in Indian makeup. So I'm practicing. I don't like how this one turned out. I think it looks weird. I just like Googled pictures and then tried to recreate them, but I just think that on my skin tone and stuff, sorry, that's why I'm like looking at myself too much too. I just don't like it. I also don't wear a lot of makeup anymore, so that probably is adding to the problem because I'm like imposter syndroming right now. I'm like, I don't even know like who I am right now because I almost like don't like it. I almost feel like I look better with like barely any makeup on, so I'm like, it's weird. It's almost making me like more insecure. I don't know. I feel like really insecure with makeup on right now, so yeah. And I felt that way for like a couple months. We went to like, where did we go where I wore makeup? I don't remember. We went somewhere in memory. And I wore makeup and I was like, this is not for me anymore. But yes, so I am practicing. You can't really tell because I put it on hours ago. But it was all sparkly and stuff. So clearly I need a better eyeshadow primer as well. But you didn't come here for this. This is not beauty content, clearly. This is book content. So I don't know which one to start with. I might just like grab the first one, which is A Snack for Phillip, and I'm just gonna get into this one. I would personally still give this 5 stars. I mean, I think that it's super great for kids. I think it's funny. I think that it's super educational, and I don't know, I think it's cute. I actually even learned some things. Like, I didn't know to be honest, that I knew, obviously, a cloud is a mass of water droplets that form as warm, wet air rises. But I didn't know that the droplets form around dust in the air. I thought they just like did their thing, you know? I don't know, that's what I'm saying. So I love this one. 5 out of 5.
No, what?
Okay, good morning. Good morning, good morning. I read some books last night, as I think I included a clip. So as you saw, I ended up reading 3. No, I ended up reading 4. I ended up reading 4 of them. So I thought that I would just kind of do a little quick discussion, and then today I'm hoping to finish these 3. So the first one that I read yesterday was The Monster at the End of This Book, starring lovable, furry old Grover. And I just thought this was the cutest thing ever. I think it still remains such a cute and interesting story, and it's just so interactive, the way that Grover, you know, speaks to the reader. And I love the small details, like right here with, you know, it shows what happened in the previous pages and those small little details. And I just think that it's just so cute and so sweet. So I think this one definitely stands the test of time, and I love it, honestly. I was like smiling the whole time. I thought it was so cute. Then I have Corduroy by Dawn Freeman. This one I just, for some reason, remember being so much more interesting than it was. I didn't feel like anything really that interesting happened. Like, he's a bear at a toy store, and he doesn't have a button, and then he tries to find his button, and then the security guard finds him, puts him back, and then he gets bought the next day, and then goes home. And like, yeah, it's cute because he finally gets a family, but I don't know, I just found it so lackluster. And I remember it being such a bigger deal. Like, I remember it having such a bigger impact. And so this one, like, kind of disappointed me now. I just felt like it wasn't very interesting, especially in comparison to the rest of the ones that I've read so far in this vlog. I just felt like it didn't really have any, like, grip. And that surprised me because I feel like this is such a classic. I don't really get why, you know? So, interesting. Subpar. Then I read Chrysanthemum by Kevin Hanks. I don't know that last name for some reason. My brain can't process, and I know that's weird, but Hanks. I don't know. Anyways, so this one I had a couple problems with. Well, first of all, the bully in this book is such a bitch. Like, I literally was so angry the whole time. I was like screaming at this book, literally. and I found it really, like, there's so much adult humor in here, like, not so much, but some, like, when she's having a rough time. The whole premise of this book, if you're unfamiliar, because I don't know if this one is as much of a classic as, like, these two. I don't know if they're as well known, but this one, her name is Chrysanthemum, and she loves her name, and then she goes to school for the very first time, and she gets picked on for her name, and it's just her learning to, like, love herself again, like, her authentic self, I guess, in her name. And like, when she first comes home from being bullied the first day, she's crying and stuff to her parents, and, like, right here, her dad is reading a book on childhood anxiety, like, The Inner Mouse Volume 1, Childhood Anxiety. Like, how funny is that? Like, I just think that's so, like, just, like, a small little quip for, you know, parents and guardians or anybody reading this book. And then there's another one right here, Understanding Identity, that he's reading when she comes home crying another time. So just little things like that I was like, oh, that's funny. But I really hated, I thought it was strange, I guess, how she's getting picked on and stuff by this girl, and their teacher is just like this girl is like, oh, a chrysanthemum's a flower. It lives in a garden with worms and other dirty things. And the teacher literally just goes, thank you for sharing that with us. Like, what kind of teacher? Like, that was weird to me. And then they end up meeting their music teacher. I'm, like, telling you the whole synopsis of this book, but it explains why I didn't like it, so hold tight. So then they meet this, you know, they get their music teacher, they meet their music teacher for the first time, she's pregnant, and the kids are like, oh my god, guess what, like, her name is, like, her name is a flower, and, like, how crazy is that? And it's super long, and the teacher is like, my name's super long, and I'm named after a flower, and if my baby's a girl, I was even considering the name Chrysanthemum. And everyone's like, are you serious? Oh my god. And then after that, they're like, oh my god, we're sorry, Chrysanthemum. We wish we were named after a flower. And then all of a sudden, she's happy. And I guess I don't like that because it just teaches children that you shouldn't be, like, okay with yourself unless other people validate you. And I think that that's not really a message that you find in children's books nowadays. Like, children's books nowadays that I've read for NetGalley and stuff don't really have this message. It's more just, like, loving yourself no matter what. And this one, it took the other girls being like, oh, fine, we like you, for then her to be like, oh, okay, then my name's fine. And I just don't really like that. I know I'm going, like, so deep into something that's not, I don't know, like, I feel like it's deep, though, because I think that the books we grow up reading do have an impact on who we become and our thought process and stuff. Call me Marigold, I'm Carnation, my name's Lily. And then she did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She knew it, so she only knew it because these other kids finally were like, oh, fine, you're okay. But, like, what if they had never done that? Then it's teaching kids, like, oh, if as long as someone bullies you, then you should hate yourself. I just, you know, like, I just didn't like it. I know that's, like, so deep, but, like, I don't know. That's just, like, as an adult, that's how I viewed it. I was like, I don't think that that's a good message. Then I have The Stinky Cheese Man and Other Fairly Stupid Tales of John Shyska and Lane Smith. Me and names, people, me and names. This was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I was, like, cracking up, smiling, like, the whole time. I read some out loud to Girk because I was like, you have to listen to this. Like, they're so funny. It's just absolutely hilarious. 5 out of 5. Like, I highly recommend this for, like, adults as well. Like, this was just so funny. That's the title page. It just says title page. The dedication is upside down, and the little narrator says, I know, this page is upside down. I meant to do that. Whoever looks at this dedication stuff anyhow. Like, it's just, like, so funny. I think it's just funny. There's a Surgeon General's warning. It has been determined that these tales are fairly stupid and probably dangerous to your health. Just little things like that that are just, like, so funny to me. Like, just so funny. So, yeah, I really, really like this one. I really thought this was hilarious and such a classic, and I'm going to give this back to my brother, but I'm definitely probably gonna buy a copy, like even for myself, because I thought this was just so entertaining and I loved it so much. What I have left is Felix Travels Back in Time. This is Town Mouse, Country Mouse, and James and the Giant Peach. So those are the 3 that I have left. Honestly, these are the ones that are like the longest, so I definitely saved like the longest ones for last, which I didn't mean to do. I just picked them up like as I felt like them. But yeah, so probably gonna read these today and then I will check in. Okay, so I finished the last 3 and I have thoughts. So this I was reading and I was like, I didn't see this. That says Disney. And I was reading it and I was like, this is literally exactly like the movie. Like the pictures and the illustrations and everything. I've never read the original, like James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl, but I've obviously seen the Disney movie when I was younger. And I was like, this is so exactly like the movie. Well, it turns out that this is one of the concept artists for the movie, and this was like the, what is it called? He wrote the screen adaptation for James and the Giant Peach. So both of them worked on the Disney movie, and some of these illustrations are actually like rough concept art from the movie. So that's why they look so similar, is this was what like some of the pieces that the movie came from. In my opinion, I didn't really like the way that this was told and written. I just think that either read the original or watch the movie. I feel like this is kind of unnecessary because it's just kind of a repetitive, I guess. And I feel like the movie is better than this, so I would just watch the movie. Then I read Town Mouse, Country Mouse by Jan Brett, and this was actually really sweet and interesting. It's about these mice that live in a house, and then it's about these mice that live in the country, and they pretty much Freaky Friday kind of, like they switch places, switch where they're living, and then they learn to love what they had, and that it's not always, you know, greener on the other side, and to appreciate what you already have and stuff. It was cute. I know I talked about like these little illustrations being like foreshadowing or from the past and whatnot, but they're actually just like little snippets that's going on while this main panel is happening, so that you get a little bit more perspective. So I did find that interesting. It's a little intense for a children's book, like this is definitely an older age demographic, or a book that you would want to read to your child. Some of the other ones I feel like are more early readers, and this one is definitely like each page is like a full paragraph, so this is definitely, same with James and the Giant Peach actually. So this is definitely more of maybe like a later elementary school age, I would say, mid to later, but it's also a great one just to read to your kiddos or for yourself as well. But I did like this one. Then we had Felix Travels Back in Time. I didn't love this as much as I remember loving it. I just didn't really like the way it was written. I love the idea of these letters with actually being, you know, I love anything that's like interactive, so I love the idea of these letters. I forgot that some of them even had like bonus stuff. Like this one has like 2 pages, and it's like a diagram of a Viking ship and stuff, and I love that concept, love this idea so much, but the actual like these parts where it's, you know, the story is being told is not written very well, to be honest, and it's very random and doesn't add anything to the story, and I didn't like it at all, to be honest. Really disappointed in this one. So if I had to rank them, I would go The Stinky Cheese Man, A Monster at the End of the Book, A Snack for Phillip, Town Mouse, Country Mouse, yeah, Felix Travels Back in Time, Chrysanthemum. I would like this one way better if it didn't have that message that I talked about in another clip. I just didn't like that. Corduroy, and then James and the Giant Peach. Just because I felt like this just wasn't, it didn't even capture my attention, and I just did not find it necessary, like I said. These are the 7 childhood picture favorites that I read in the last 2 days, and this was a very fun experience. It was very fun, you know, reading these titles again, seeing what I liked as a kid and which ones I felt the need to hold on to into adulthood. But yeah, I think I have some really good picks in here, and I'm really excited to, you know, pass these down one day. I'm sorry if this video didn't have like very much entertainment or stuff going on. I think that it's because these were such short reads that there just wasn't like a ton to say about them, and I read them all just in the last, 2 days, but really like 24 hours ultimately, because I started late yesterday. So I am sorry if this video is lacking actual like content. But let me know if you think that I should do this with the chapter books that I have. That might be a little bit more fulfilling. But yeah, also let me know if you've read any of these and what your thoughts are, or if you had any of these as kids. I think that would be so fun to talk about. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to like it if you did, and subscribe to get more content from me. Sorry, my mind like blanked for a second. What? I hope you have a good day or night, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!